Hey, welcome to the video. Today, I'm going to give you my final verdict on the Hoka Rocket X3. So, is this just another carbon-plated shoe overshadowed by its bigger, faster, more expensive rivals in the racing shoe space? Or is this a genuine diamond in the rough? And most importantly, who's it best for? So today's video is going to be nice and simple. Just me chatting to you about a shoe for 5 minutes. So stick around and we'll see whether it was for me and if it's for you. So let's do the stats first because we've got to get them out of the way. So it's a 42mm stack height in the heel, 35 in the forefoot. That means there's a 7mm drop, which is a pretty moderate drop, I'd say. It's not on the really aggressive Nike 10mm side, but it's also not going to be that sort of flat-footed racer if you do want something less aggressive. The foam itself on the shoe is dual density. So both layers are PEBA, but this top layer here is, I would say, quite clearly softer and smushier, with the bottom layer providing us a bit more of a carrier foam. The interesting thing there is it's PEBA on both layers, so you're still getting that really premium foam feel, even in the carrier foam, which is traditionally an EVA foam, to kind of hold the shoe in place a bit more. And I think that's going to play into some of my thoughts later on about the shoe too. But there's definitely quite a clear tandem effect going on between those two levels of the shoe. I think you can clearly feel the two different foams of the shoe working together. Well, I may or may not be editing the shoe and eating ice cream right now, but I've realized that I didn't talk about the outsole in this shoe, which I think is fantastic. I saw definitely below average wear on this shoe. This has been really surprisingly durable, and the rubber was super grippy in all kinds of weather. I ran in this in the rain and the heat, and I never had too many problems with it. So within the foam, there's a carbon plate which is winged, which I feel provides some pretty nice stability to the shoe. Definitely something that's not massively common in carbon-plated racing shoes. And the shoe is 226 grams in a men's size 8, which is in most part thanks to a really light single layer wrap mesh upper, which I felt worked really well. So over the past 2 weeks, I've racked up over 50 kilometers on this shoe, and I wanted to just chat about my key takeaways from the shoe. The things that really stood out to me after putting in those miles over some fast and slower speeds, as well as longer and shorter distance runs. And if you like any of my thoughts, then if you could subscribe, that would be amazing. And I hope you appreciate the new mic, because I just heard it back and it sounds great. So first and foremost, I think the thing that struck me, and the thing that I think will strike a lot of people about the shoe, is this is a versatile carbon plated shoe. This is not that Mach 100 carbon plated shoe that you can only take at full pelt. This is the kind of shoe that will be more suited to a wider range of use cases in your rotation. So I wouldn't say that this is the kind of shoe that you feel like you would need to protect until race day. And this is something that I'd be really happy to take out for multiple training runs, really put some miles into it, do some long runs into it, and really get comfortable in the shoe, because I do think it's got the durability. And the durability is a key part of my second point, which is that I think that this is a carbon plated shoe for the everyday runner. So I think that this shoe will last you longer, support you more, and be more tailored to the stride of your everyday runner like me, and maybe like you as well, who aren't doing elite marathon pace runs. So the dual density foam definitely allows for some more stability in the shoe. It's got a wider base than Hoka's other offering, which is the Cielo X1 and then the Cielo X1 2.0. The shoe is also £30 cheaper than the Cielo model. I think that's part of the packaging of the shoe. It's kind of this idea that this is a shoe that more runners will be able to take out and find some joy with. My third point is that this shoe doesn't quite hit those absolute blistering top speeds. So your 400 and 200 meter repeats might be served better by something more aggressive, lighter, more nimble, but it doesn't quite access those absolute top speeds. And when I took this shoe out for a workout in which I did some shorter repeats, I also found that this was a shoe that is better served by longer, slightly more controlled runs. And all of that folds into my ultimate thesis, if you will, I guess, about the shoe, which is that the Rocket X3 prioritizes control over chaos. And even if that is at the sacrifice of some of that top end, snappy carbon plated feel magic, this is a shoe that feels like it will really serve discipline over drama and instability. Because sometimes in those really fast shoes, you'll find that the base and the stability of the shoe just isn't there. Whereas here, this is a more centered ride, this is a more controllable ride, this is a more tameable carbon plated shoe that I would feel more confident taking out for 26 miles than something like the Metaspeed series. And I think it's easy to be turned off from a running shoe review if someone's telling you that a shoe built to be fast isn't the fastest running shoe on the market, right? I get that. And I'm going to be real, this isn't the fastest shoe on the market, but I'm a normal runner, and I think maybe a lot of you are too. And I think for us, a more comfortable, controllable ride that has 90% of that top end speed might be the choice to go for. Because if you are a marathon runner or a half marathon runner, I'd guess that you're not pushing a shoe to 100% for the duration of 42 kilometers. I would wager that actually for most of that distance, you're controlling at about 70% of your top speed at around your marathon pace. And this shoe can absolutely do that while providing all the things that you might need for the entire distance that you might not get in a lot of other carbon plated shoes. These are user-friendly carbon plated shoes. But yeah, they're my full thoughts on the Hoka Rocket X3. So I would definitely recommend this shoe, and I would give the Hoka Rocket X3 a really solid 8 out of 10. And I would say that I would definitely recommend this to new and old runners alike. So yeah, I'll see you in a bit. Bye.